Genia Church, welcome to Heart of the City.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
It's been a long time coming. I've wanted you on here for quite some time.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
The fabulous, award-winning New York Fashion Week hairstylist, educator extraordinaire. You just have such a name that precedes you, and I am so blessed and lucky to have worked with you for several years now.
I'm so happy. I've loved every minute.
And to get my hair done by you, fabulous.
Yes.
Even though I'm sure you're like, wish it was fresher.
No, great canvas to work on. Great canvas.
Gosh, well, so excited you're here. Tell us how you got started in this industry.
So I started in this industry. Actually, believe it or not, I started playing in dolls' hair. Everybody has said this, like
Dolls,
like at 9 years old. And I taught myself how to braid my own hair. And it just was something I always had a passion for, but decided I was going to go to school for something totally different just because so many people tried to talk me out of going into the beauty industry.
Why?
Because they felt like it wasn't as concrete, it wasn't consistent as far as an income, and you didn't have benefits. So it was a lot of things they would share about reasons why it wasn't like a ideal career choice. And for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try something else just to see, I actually was really good at math and science. And so I went into computers.
What?
But it's funny because it comes full circle. But I was great at math and science. So I ended up going to school for computer science to begin with. And
Smart.
Some things changed, and I switched my major to cosmetology, and that's when the light bulb went off. I was like, okay, this is where I always wanted to be. And I knew I would do it, but I was like, this is going to be my side thing. I'll do this after I get my computer science degree. And I ended up switching majors, and I never looked back. So,
and I mean, there is some science to hair
it's
and color,
a lot of
right?
science and math. So science is what we do a lot with our color. It's like a lot of chemistry and things like that, as well as with the math is geometry with our haircuts. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. And I think that's also a beautiful thing for people who have children that may not fit the typical mold. It's like you can utilize those skills into other industries.
You can kind of blend your strengths. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How fun. Yeah. Okay, so you never worked in the field in computer science?
Never.
You
never.
Switched. Okay.
Exactly.
That's so crazy. So what's kept you passionate about hair all these years?
My continuing education. So I think one of the things that I do and that I have been very intentional about is continuing my education, and also going outside of the city to see what's going on, and not just in the U.S., but in the world. I think that drives a lot of trends and a lot of innovation for what we see in our industry. But I also have been able to bring that back here to Chattanooga.
That's so great. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about like hair stereotypes and like salon stereotypes, because I feel like one of the things that I just respect madly about you is how you've just like broken all molds when it comes to stereotypes. You have this amazing salon, every walk of life, every color of person comes through that salon. But there is kind of this like low key stereotype, I feel like, that white women don't know how to work on textured hair or white artists, stylists, and vice versa. So how did you break that mold? Was that hard? Was that a journey? Or has that just always been like a no-brainer for you?
So for me, it was something I was very intentional about when I actually went to cosmetology school. I found that first that they would always bring the clients in and they would partner you with someone that looked like you or had textured hair like you. And I already knew how to do a lot of that before I went to cosmetology school. So for me, it was more about, I want to be here and do something different than I already know how to do.
Give me the challenge.
I want the challenge, and I want to learn, how to do it. So I actually was very intentional because I had an experience as well when we had a client walk into the salon. There was a salon I was working in, and the client's hair was totally different texture, and everybody in the salon just turned around and looked at each other like, okay, what are we going to do? And from that moment on, I said, I never want to be in a position where I felt like I couldn't service someone especially if this is an industry and a career choice that I made. I want to learn everything that there is about it. So that from that point, it set me on the path of being able to like learn to master different skill sets, to be able to help everyone that comes into the salon, but also train my stylist to do the same thing.
Which is so huge. 'Cause,
Yes.
I mean, that's how you've literally touched almost every artist and stylist in this town is, you're not one-dimensional. You literally want to and are willing to work on and work with anybody.
Yes, and one of the things I would say as well is it has afforded me the opportunity to do a lot more in our industry because of that. So it's almost like a superpower. So
true, your versatility.
Yes.
I think it says, though, a lot about just you as a person and your heart and just even your heart for service. I know that you're a woman of faith, and I think that carries through with how you don't want anyone to feel excluded or turned away when they walk up to you. You want to be able to like open arms, just be accepting of anyone. And I feel that so much when I'm in your chair, just even personally and emotionally, but of course, like professionally too.
Thank you. Yes, that is something that's really big to me. And the other thing that I would speak to as well is like, we found a market too with people that are adopting kids and from different countries and different ethnicities. And we find that is something that has presented a challenge for mothers that are adopting kids who have hair texture not like their own. And we've been able to assist a lot of those families as well. So that's something that we really want to do is like encourage people and like help to train and teach others how to, service their kids or, provide this for their children.
Yeah. And have like a comfortable home for anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I don't think about that maybe, but
exactly. A lot of people don't. And I think removing the fear is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to create a space that everyone feels comfortable to come in. And if you're uncertain, that's a great place to be a first stop. If you have any questions, if you have biracial children or if you have children that you're adopting from other countries.
That's so cool. This episode is brought to you by Forte Fitness. What I love about Forte's personal training approach is it isn't focused on body image or outward appearance, but rather lifelong wellness and functional movement. Forte has been an integral part of my life and has seen me through a lot of seasons, including 2 pregnancies, 2 postpartum seasons, and now juggling 2 babies while still doing my best to prioritize my workouts. The team at Forte is all about meeting you where you are. Whether you've never picked up a weight in your life or you're ready for the next challenge, there is a place for you. Your first step will be a one-on-one consultation with the owner, Adam Lozano, and from there, he will pair you with the best trainer to meet your goals. Text Adam at 423-838-0086 to set up your consultation and mention Heart of the City to get your first 3 personal training sessions for free. Okay, so you mentioned the education piece and your continuing education. So you've worked with local schools, local colleges, you go into salons, you do tons of teaching. You now do global teaching. You've been on stages and big speaking engagements all over the world now, which is insane.
Yes.
Like what really, I know you said like that urge for helping others be versatile, but like how did you get your teacher's heart? Like where did this come from?
I think that it's a responsibility that we have. One of the things that I say is like, I didn't get here on my own. And I also want to be able to give back and leave something for others. Like when I think about a legacy that I would want to share and leave, it's like continue your education, but always remember to reach back and help someone else. And I get more enjoyment, not out of my own personal accolades, but actually seeing the people around me grow and go to the next level. Like that is like the greatest reward for me.
That is so sweet. And I so sense that in the spaces I am with you in. That's so cool. Okay, what do you think most stylists need to understand to build longevity and success in this industry?
To build longevity and success in this industry begins with, number 1, consistency, hard work, follow through, and commitment to education, because our industry is ever evolving. And just like other trends in fashion and technology, things are constantly moving at a fast pace. And so you want to make sure like our foundation is there, but you want to make sure you continue your education to push your boundaries because that's what's going to keep you cutting edge and keep your career more fulfilling, but also, you'll never miss a day of work in your life.
That's so true. Wow. That's awesome. Okay, so tell me, I know, but tell us, as you know, our listeners may not, tell us how you split your time, because you're all over the place and you have a lot of different hats you wear, and you might be like one of the hardest people in my life to get a hold of because you're never in the same place for very long, which we love about you.
Yes.
But yeah, describe kind of your roles.
So a lot of people ask, how do I juggle what I do? So I am a global platform artist, or a national platform artist for Schwarzkopf Professional USA, but I've recently been a part of our global team doing some projects there. And I also have a clientele base in Dallas and own collective here in Chattanooga. And I have my own clientele. And so and I'm a wife and a mother, but I know that can be very challenging. But the way I balance everything is I compartmentalize my life. And not to mention the Scout Guide. Right,
yeah, hey,
right,
I wasn't going to say it, but no, I'm just kidding.
But I say all that to say that I have a lot of different things that I am juggling, but I try to compartmentalize. I have a lot of things that I'm juggling, and I try to compartmentalize my life so that I don't get overwhelmed. So when I am working on a project, I'm present in that moment, and I'm not thinking about all the other things that are swirling around in my head. However, it does make it challenging, and I'm still trying to find balance with communication because Sally, we all know Sally and love Sally, but we have this thing that we just have an understanding. So now we have really unique office hours.
Yeah. Which, for those of you who don't know, Sally's on my team. And yes, you guys talk at what, like 10 p.m.
Exactly,
or later?
Exactly. But no, just be honest, like it is challenging to juggle, but I do balance it pretty well because I'm a very social person. I do a lot of different things, but when I go home, I am able to really like unwind, decompress. I don't carry a lot of that weight or stress from that. But the biggest thing I would say is compartmentalize, try to work your calendar and wish for the best.
Yeah. I think you saying the part about being so present wherever you are is also one of your superpowers, because I will know what your day looks like, and I'm like kind of biting my nails, like, how is she going to pull this off? But the minute you walk in the door and you're trying to deliver for me or one of my clients, you act like they are the only person that you care about that whole week. Like,
Yes.
you give so much wherever you are, and very few people can do that effectively. I think so many of us are constantly checking our phones and getting distracted and taking calls, and you know, even if it's appropriate, it still makes the person feel that you're not really there, and you never do that. And that's really been something I admire about you.
Because I really am, like I said, I try to be intentional with that, and it's hard because I am working behind a chair a lot of times, even if I'm on set. And so I have to be present, so I can't grab that phone and I can't do those things. But I'm finding ways to balance it. And like I said, that 10 o'clock p.m. hour is like the sweet spot, or early in the morning
Poor
for
Robert,
me.
your poor husband.
Exactly.
We love you, Robert. Way to be support stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so all of this global work, and like I'm just so fascinated. Like, you have gone to how many fashion weeks? Like, how many years have you been going?
A long time.
Yes.
Over 10 years. I've also done London Fashion Week, which was amazing. I got to work with Nick Irwin, who is an amazing global artist for Schwarzkopf as well. And
you recently went to Australia.
I went to Vienna, Austria, Warsaw, Poland, Berlin, Germany, and just recently Sydney, Australia.
And that's all this year, right?
All this year,
Oh
yes.
my gosh. Yeah. Okay, tell us like one of the wildest stories that stands out from working with like high profile clients in these spaces.
Believe it or not, it's very, very much like working with any of my other clients. I haven't had any crazy drama or anything like that. I did have an experience. It was fun working with Andy Grammer, and I didn't know who he was at the time, so I was working with him behind the scenes, and I'm like, oh, so, what do you do? And he's like, he said, I'm an artist. So I'm thinking, because we worked with a lot of people that were, hosts on shows. They were actresses or actors. So artist is so broad. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, oh, okay. And so I'm just sitting there doing his hair, and he was super cool, very chill, low key. I go out to touch him up on the red carpet, and I walk away, and he starts singing the song, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Andy. I was like, I never knew.
That's hilarious.
So it's so funny because I feel like the reason I tell that story is because they're just like us. They really just want to make, real, genuine connections with people.
That's so cool.
And it was a beautiful thing. And so that warms my heart to know that he's still just as humble, just to say, I'm just an artist.
That's so cool.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh. I know I've personally fangirled over you being in the same room as Chris Appleton, who's like one of our celebrity stylist crushes.
Yes.
He does Kim K's hair and all the celebrities. So yeah, it's just so cool that you've like rubbed shoulders with all these people, but you're still so humble and you come back here to lowly old Chattanooga and do a hair like mine. So yeah, it's really, amazing.
What I always say is like, I do celebrities, but I also do celebrities right here in Chattanooga in my chair because I love to celebrate the clients
I love that
actually are here for me every day.
So do you feel like there is a difference in when you're working with everyday people that just have normal careers and like live in small towns like here versus like, do you go into it with a different mentality or do you kind of bring the same energy?
I think I'll touch on this with a different little spin. One of the things that I say about my clientele here and anybody I cross paths with, I feel like what I do is like a ministry. Sometimes I'm pouring into people and sometimes they're pouring into me.
That's sweet.
So I feel like everyone that I cross paths with is actually God allowing those paths to cross. So no matter how short or how long that relationship is, and from a business perspective, I feel like it's always something that is beneficial from the meeting, right?
That's so cool.
So for me, I love learning about new people. Some people always say, you're so busy, but do you take new clients? I love taking new clients because I love meeting new people. And I think, like I said, if it's meant to be, our paths are going to cross for a reason. And so some beautiful connections have been made and friendships, lifelong friendships have been made.
That's so cool. I love that. I mean, yeah, you even told me cool stories about kismet meetings on planes that like have led to cool opportunities for you, like when you're just on an airplane or this or that. And I think that goes to show how beneficial it is to like have an open heart and have like a more social willingness to even strangers, because it's really cool what doors can open. Like the world is smaller than we think.
Exactly.
It's wild.
And there's so many, like they say, I think 6 degrees of separation. I don't know what it's gotten down to now, but it's really true.
It's
like
so
this
cool.
industry, even when I travel across the world, the industry is really tight and small. And so that's why you always have to, you're talking about career longevity. You have to show up, you have to be consistent because you are creating a brand for yourself.
Yeah.
And what is your reputation saying about you? Because that will precede you.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about leadership and mentorship. Okay, so I have witnessed you own The Collective, which is a beautiful salon here in town. It's also the salon we partner with the Scout Guide, which has been such an amazing working relationship. I find it fascinating that you are essentially working with a room full of, right now it's all women who are their own bosses technically.
Yes.
But yet they're still looking to you for so much leadership, mentorship, approval. It's like you're their boss. Like, talk about that dynamic.
So I created The Collective because it's a collaborative workspace for beauty creatives. What I found that there was a need for, I've worked and owned several different types of salons where it's been a commission-based salon where I am definitely, the owner, the manager, the boss, so to speak. And everyone is working under that umbrella. Then I've also worked in salons where it's independent contractors and everyone is their individual
like
boss,
rental.
like booth rental situation. And we've worked in salon suites. So when I was looking at all of that, I saw that there was still a disconnect that was happening for a need for that mentorship and that leadership, because so many people wanted to be their own boss, but didn't actually have the experience or the support along the way in their career leading up to this point to be able to help them, guide them in a way that was going to lead them to success and what that next level looks like. And so that's why I created this space. So it's iron sharpens iron. We all have different strengths.
So sweet.
We have people that specialize in hair color, people that everyone works with all different textures of hair, but we also do hair extensions. We do a lot of everything. But in that, we all support one another greatly, and we're able to sharpen each other's irons. And that's what that space was created for. And so when you think about leadership, I feel like that's a great responsibility because you do have these brands that are
so true.
in your hands. So for me, I've been able to help like navigate and help guide them and help them reach a lot of their career goals as well.
So cool. On that same thread, I also feel like you very naturally and organically gain people's respect. I watch it happen. And it's like you have this really special way of treating people like a peer and like an equal, but then also being very direct and kindly firm when you're delivering feedback or your input. How have you refined that? Like, how have you gotten there as a leader?
I have taken a lot of leadership classes. I actually, the thing that I can get lost in is like business and leadership books. Something totally outside of the industry. But so because I feel like whenever I'm doing something, I want to learn and grow and be, the best I can at that. So that came with number one, experience and recognizing that everyone receives information differently.
Totally.
So I have to take that in consideration. But at the same time, some things are non-negotiables and you have to be firm. Mm-hmm. So that is a dance that we have to play. But I try to take and meet that person where they are to find a way that I could communicate with them to still keep them lifted in the process.
So true.
But also be firm when I have to. And I think understanding that we both are adults and we're able to, find a mutual ground in that.
Yeah.
So I think that that's where the respect comes from because I'm also willing to give it.
Totally.
Because it is something that I would like to receive as well.
I think just, the part about the relationship having to lead so that you really get to know the people and build that rapport before you can be direct and really candid. And I sense that you do that like so well. It's because you deal with a lot of different personalities.
It's a lot of different personalities.
There's a lot of big energy in that collective. Yeah. I love it. Okay, let's talk about, you mentioned the hair chair, and I think about this when it comes to like personal trainers and hairstylists, and you guys are like glorified therapists in some way. I mean, does that just get draining? Like, how do you recharge after that? How do you even, I know some days you're seeing like 8 and 9 clients back to back in a day. You don't even take a break for lunch.
Yes.
I mean, how do you do that?
I do think that some of us are better at that than others because some people do carry the weight of all the conversations that they have to have. But again, that's where my compartmentalizing comes into play because, I am present with my client when I'm there. I'm definitely listening. And, there's times you want to redirect it back to, the hair appointment and things like that. But you can tell there's other times where clients just need someone to listen to. And so I am going to be present for those clients and things like that. But at the same token, I can't allow it to get me down because my next client, she's been looking forward to this appointment for a long time, so I got to give her the energy
you
as well.
You almost have to like clean the slate and start fresh. Every client. And sometimes you're balancing 3 at a time. So you're having to pop in and out of their energy.
Yes.
That's so wild. Oh my gosh. I haven't even thought about that. You're like, let's talk. I'm now talking about your loved one like actively passing away. And then I'm over here talking about your wedding coming up. And then I'm over here talking about
graduation. Right?
I mean, yes, that is wild.
Yeah.
So you got to have a lot of switches.
You do.
Yeah, that's probably a very tough learned skill.
It's a juggling act, but it definitely comes with experience.
Yeah. How much do you think a hairstylist's success is their personality and ability to do that versus their technical ability?
That is such an amazing question, Amy. I will say this is something I found. Personality is such a huge part of it because people are spending sometimes 2 and 3 hours, depending on if it's a long, extensive color service with you. And so I have seen clients or more. I've seen clients leave a stylist because there's just not a connection. It's like they can't really say that the hair was bad. There's just not a connection. And so I do feel like it is a big part, believe it or not. And I think that it's something that you just have to be mindful of. They always say most often that your clientele is a reflection of you as well. And I do believe that because people gravitate towards you like energies as far as
Yeah, you're not going to be for everybody.
Exactly. But I do find that does happen, but personality is a huge part of it. Yes.
The rest can kind of be taught.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah, I can't teach you personality. I can't teach you work ethic.
No.
But what I can teach
true.
you is the skill and how to be successful as a hairstylist.
That's so true. This episode is brought to you by Chattanooga Shoe Company. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with shoes. It's probably my main addiction when it comes to shopping. One reason I love shoes is they fit in every season of life, and they can still be that statement piece in an outfit. Chattanooga Shoe Company not only curates styles that are cutting edge in the fashion world, but also their shoes are by far the most comfortable pairs that I own. Instead of only wearing the big brands like Adidas and UGG, I love wearing things that not everybody else has. And Chattanooga Shoe Company has introduced me to brands from all over the world that I would have never otherwise known existed. I get compliments on my shoes just about every single day, and I'm so proud when I get to say they're from Chattanooga Shoe Company. Use code HOTC for 10% off your purchase when you shop online at chattanoogashoe.com. When did you feel like in your career you were like, man, I'm doing it? Like I've kind of arrived. Like, do you remember like a moment or a gig you got or an opportunity?
So I would say I never ever feel like I've arrived because I have such big goals for myself.
I love you.
I know. I'm like, it's always this one thing. But I definitely think that that's the thing that keeps me humble.
Yeah.
And it's also the thing that keeps me driven.
Yes.
But one thing that I can say is when I had an opportunity to go work and do a global hair campaign in Argentina, that was my first big moment.
So
and
exciting.
that to me was like a totally different experience. You know, it's like a fish out of water because I'd never done it before. So having that experience, I did feel a sense of accomplishment, but also a greater sense of responsibility because the weight of that particular hair campaign was on my shoulders. So I was like, I got to do good at this. So
can you tell us what it was?
Yes, it was for Got to Be and for Schwarzkopf Keratin Color. So
wow.
So I did 3 commercial shoots in 1 week in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Wow.
And it was amazing.
And you're working with like models.
Yes,
wow.
We're working with models from all over the world. Like there was a model from Copenhagen, a model from London.
That's so cool.
And the actual creative team was from all over the world. Like the DP was from Sweden, and I mean, it's just
that's
all
so
over.
Cool.
So that's a beautiful thing.
So you say things like that, and then I know about you that you still take on free work.
Yes.
You still organize free work for yourself to continue growing, build your portfolio. Again, mad respect. I just feel like that is such a thing I admire about you. I mean, talk about that and kind of, you know, you don't have to be taking on free work at this point in your career, but you do. So why is that?
So I think I just read a thing and it's on Behind the Chair and it was really great. It was talking about the power in saying yes. And it was like, there's so many people in this generation of beauty industry professionals coming up that are not willing to say yes to those opportunities to do free work, to gain experience, build network, grow your portfolio. There's so many people that don't see the value in that. And I can tell you, just like what you said, today I would still take on free work if it's an opportunity for me to grow, also support my friends. There's been opportunities that I'm going and I'm supporting my friends, but it's still a mutual thing that I know, you know, we may be able to barter services, but at the end, it may be a great portfolio shot that I can add to my portfolio or something I can add to my resume. So what I say by that is, you never know. And the article was talking about like that yes gets you in a room that you ordinarily, it probably would have taken you years to get into.
So true. By
meeting these people, you know, and doing all these things. So I am a big believer in that. And also I do volunteer work. So, you know, volunteering we've done haircuts for the homeless and we've done a lot of different things like that. So it's more purpose-filled, I would say. It's like with my passion, my purpose aligned, I think that it's still just as fulfilling as getting actual payment.
That's so awesome. Yeah, money is not the only value.
Exactly.
That's so great, Genia. All right, let's talk about some trends.
Yes.
One trend that comes to mind in really all over the map is hair extensions. Like
Yes.
hair extensions used to be like such a luxury. I remember, I mean, in my early days, the hair extensions, the first side of hair extensions were like kiosks in the mall.
Yes.
It was like the
Yes.
ponytails you could attach and like the pieces or whatever. But I mean, talk about hair extensions and like how that's evolved in your career and like maybe what that has done for especially women more so than just for their hair. Like, what do you see that like hair
Yes.
transformation do for people?
I think that hair extensions nowadays, it used to be something that, was rarely talked about because it was like, oh my gosh, she has fake hair. But now it gives you the opportunity to have versatile styling options. It's great. You can change your look. I think we're seeing that a lot with Kim Kardashian as well. Like, this is just a beautiful thing. And what I like about it is because the hair extension industry has evolved so much, so there's something for everyone. We have tape-ins, we have, even clip-ins for temporary additions.
Oh, yeah,
but
I'm not knocking the ponytail. If you need a ponytail, you need a ponytail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I actually use a lot of these things on set because sometimes we're changing looks so rapidly. So we're able to, like a lot of times we're working with models and they're professional models. They can't cut their hair or they can't color their hair. So we're able to use hair extensions in a way that we haven't been able to in the past to create amazing transformations.
Wow.
And this builds so much confidence in clients as well. It also is a great, exciting thing for people to see what they would look like with a different look.
That's so cool. Is there like a rule of thumb though from your artist's eye where you're like, I wish more people would consider this about their hair extensions? Like the amount or the length or the like, what are some things we should think about as women?
Some things that I would say that you need to think about is more importantly, the texture and density of your hair. What I've found is hair extensions can be damaging if you're not assessed properly with the right extension method for your hair. So I think that that's where I find that people have had some bad experiences with extensions because the weight of the hair was too dense and it actually created some damage. And so I think that that's number one is really making sure that you go to someone that's going to analyze your hair properly, give you the right method for your hair, and then and following up with your maintenance because the maintenance is key. So often I think we have people that are active, they work out a lot, they pull their hair up a lot. You have to really communicate that to your stylist because that's
sweat
also
a lot.
Exactly, you sweat a lot. And so proper brushing and proper maintenance is huge. Also to maintain the integrity of your hair. So that's big.
That's cool. Okay, what is one hair trend that you hope never comes back?
Well, it has come back and it's the perm only because I hate the smell of the perm. And that question has been asked so many times. But I am such a firm believer of there's every trend that I've seen. Like it's always cyclical. So it's going to come back, but it'll come back in a new modern way. And so with the perm, we still haven't found a way to get that smell under control. And that's why
I have a best friend whose nephew, who's like 7, just got a perm. It's getting popular with the young kids.
It's popular with the young kids because it's this really cool haircut that everybody's wanting. And so and it has a lot of texture. So people are getting perms. And mostly guys right now. They're getting perms.
I got a perm when I was young. My mom took me into the Nordstrom salon.
Yes.
And even my bangs were permed. It's just wild. That's so funny.
I mean, they've got creative with like where the texture is a lot looser, is more lived in texture versus being the really tight curls, which is great. But again, it's just the smell that I wish they haven't addressed yet.
Okay, lastly on the trends topic, tell us how you approach a client who comes in with like, a Pinterest picture or an inspo picture, and oftentimes it's going to be a celebrity or some beautiful model, and they're like, I want this cut. And you're like, you look nothing like this, A. B, your hair isn't like this. How do you like softly tell someone that that's not going to work for them or that like that really isn't an option?
Okay, so most often what I do is definitely the number one thing I'm saying is, what do you like most about this picture? That's the number one question because sometimes it is the person that they're looking at. It's like the beautiful model that's like looking.
Her skin's so pretty.
Exactly, right? But I'm like, okay, what exactly do you like most about this? So I'll actually get them to pull it out. And we talk about it. A lot of times it's the color of a blonde. Like I see so often people are like, trying to select color of blonde based on this person that they're looking at, but their skin tone may not match that. So it's like, I'm going to have that conversation. We're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to find an alternative where it's like, we can find something that's going to work best for you. And we may be able to incorporate some of that. However, due to your skin tone, that's not going to be best color for you, or due to your face shape, that's not going to be the best cut for you. So it's ways that I can recommend, and I would always say, based on a professional recommendation, this is what I would suggest.
That's so good.
And there's clients who will push us to try to go beyond. And if it's something I feel is going to be detrimental to their hair, I would not do it.
Yeah.
But there's sometimes that I may give them a slight variation of what they want. Still, this is not my choice, but we have to meet them in the middle.
It's a song and dance.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, to wrap up, what do you hope people say about Genia Church? Not just as a stylist and a professional, but even as just like a leader, a friend, a mother, a wife. What do you hope people say about you?
I hope that people would say that Genia is very passionate about what she does, but she also is just as passionate about building connections and treating people well. I know that, just like you said, not about hair or anything like that, but I would hope that, people would see that I'm a person of integrity, a person that is committed to whatever she says she's going to do.
I would definitely say those things about you.
Thank you, Amy.
So now I want you to fill in the blank. The heart of the collective and the heart of my brand is...
The heart of the collective and the heart of my brand is celebrating diversity.
I love it. I have the chills. You're the best.
Thanks,
Genia.